Okay, we're going to start focusing on multiplication and division. There are two terms that you need to know. The first is a factor. A factor is any of the two or more that are being multiplied together. So an example to the right, 80 times 647. 80 is one factor, while 647 is the second factor. Now the product is the end result. So what we have here is 647 times 80 equals 51,760. So 51,760 is the product. Now when we multiply, if we look again at the example, 80 is our first number, our first factor. 647 is our second factor. But the problem is 647 is bigger. We're going to go ahead and put 647 on top. The smaller number is going to be below it. As you can see how it's set up, 647 is on top, 80 is on the second level, and then we're going to multiply. Now you can also see the pattern that we're going to multiply the 7 by the 0, the 4 times the 0, the 6 times the 0. And then we're going to go ahead 7 times 8, 4 times 8, and 6 times 8. But before we can do that, we do need to save that placeholder of the 0. Okay? So the 0, 0, 0 is placed there. Then we bring down a 0 for the second level. 7 times 8 is 56. 4 times 8 plus 5 is 37. And then 6 times 8 plus 3 is 51. If we go ahead and look at the second example, 5,036 times 49, 5,036 goes on top. 49 goes below that. We go ahead and multiply 6 times 9, 3 times 9, 0 times 9, 5 times 9. Then we move to a second level, 6 times 4, 3 times 4, 0 times 4, and 5 times 4. And then we get the product. Now we're going to do two practice examples. Before I show you the answers, pause this now, try and multiply these together, put the larger number on top, smaller number below, focus on the first column, and choose the best answer. Then do the second question, check your work, choose the best answer, and then go to the next page. Okay, here are the answers. Hopefully you got them right. If you didn't, we'll have to go back through and also reach out to me and let me maybe better explain or help you if you need any help. Also, if you did have trouble on these, please do the practice problems and check your answers with the parent check. You can have mom or dad or guardian check that with you, or you can do it on your own. Now let's focus on division. There are three terms here. Just like with addition there was two terms, subtraction there was three terms, multiplication there was two terms, and now division there are three terms. We have the dividend, which is the number that is being divided into parts. So that's the number we're breaking apart. Then we have the divisor. This is the number you are dividing by, the one that is going into the dividend. And then we have the answer, which is called the quotient. Okay, let's look at example 1. It shows the dividend on top of the fraction. Okay, 2,765 is on top, 18 is below. What we're going to do is we're going to take that 2,765 and we're going to drop it down. And we're going to divide 18 into 2,765. Now, before we can do that, 18 will go into 27 one time. So 1 times 18 is 18. So 27 minus 18 is 9. We bring down the 6, and we have 96. Now we have to figure out 18 times what equals 96. 5 times 18 is 90. So we have to do some work, figure it out. Okay, 5 times 18 is 90. 96 minus 90 is 6. We drop down the 5, that makes it a 65. And then we do 3 times 18 is 54. And then we are left with an 11 at the end, and we can do a remainder 11, if you learned that in elementary school. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at our next example. 23 goes into 5,904. 5,904 is what we're dividing into, so that is going to be the dividend. 123 is the divisor. And then we go ahead and divide, and we get 48 as the quotient. Now let's go ahead and apply front-end estimation. Remember, with front-end estimation, we are only looking at the first number. This is pretty easy, in which we don't have to worry about rounding. So if we have 7 times 52,490, remember, 52,490 is the larger number that will go on top, and with front-end estimation, we're only looking at the first number, 5 and 7. 5 times 7 is 35, but 35 is not the answer. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the placeholders. We have because it's 52,000, we have a 2, 4, 9, and 0. So basically, okay, that's going to be 4 zeros. 5 times 7 is 35, and then we have our 4 zeros. Let's look at a practice. 4 times 593. 593 goes on top. 4 goes below that. But we're looking at 5 times 4. That's 20. 5 times 4 is 20. Now 93 gives us 2 zeros. 9 and 3. That's 2 placeholders. So we put the 2 placeholders down. And then we have 20. We could also make it a little easier, we could also do front-end estimation. We do the 5 and then automatically do the 5 zeros, make that 500, and multiply that by the 4. Now, if we want to make it more accurate, for front-end estimation, we would not just look at the first number, but we would look at the first and second. So we would multiply the 9 times the 4 and the 5 times the 4. Now, if I want to focus on rounding, remember, we always focus on the highest place first. We round first to the highest place, then we multiply. Remember, we don't round after. We're going to go ahead and round first, then multiply. Let's look at the first example, 43 and 6,287. We want to go ahead and place the 6,287 on top, 43 under that, and then we want to go ahead and round. The 6,287 will round down because remember, we're going to kind of underline that 6, focus on the 2. 2 is under 5, so that rounds down to 6,000. The 43, the 4 is the number we're focusing on. We underline that. We circle the 3. 3 is less than 5. So we round that down to a 40. So now what we're going to do is we round it first. Now we're going to multiply 6,000 times 40. Okay, we have a total of, if you look there, we have a total of 4 zeros. Okay, we're going to put those 4 zeros in as placeholders. And then 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, here's another example you can take a look at. Remember, you round first. 18, we're going to round up to 20. 35, we're going to round up to 40. 53, we're going to round down to 50. So what I'm going to do is first, I'm going to work our way left to right. So I'll do 20 times 40 first. That's going to give us 800. And then I'm going to multiply 800 times 50 because 20 times 40 is 800. Then 800 times 50 gives us 40,000. Okay, we have, for that 800 times 50, we have 3 zero placeholders, and then 8 times 5 is 40. Now here's a new one that we haven't talked about yet, but this is an estimated range. A range is like an area of the product, going from one point or one number to another point or another number. So a range between 0 and 50. Number 1, we're going to go ahead and round. Okay, factors down and multiply. And then if we have to round the factors up, we multiply. And then we write down the range. So we're looking at two things here. Okay, 27 times 319. Let's first round down. 27 can be rounded down to 20. 319 can be rounded down to 300. Now you're probably thinking 27 should not be rounded down. 27 should be rounded up. But the thing here is we want a range. Okay? A range is the lowest possible, okay, to the highest possible. Okay? I'm not asking for an exact rounding. I'm looking for the range. So lowest possible, we round 27 down to 20, 318 down to 300. We multiply those and we get 600. Now we're going to round up to get the highest possible. 27 rounds up to 30, but look at this. 319, we're going to round up to 400. We multiply those, we get 12,000. So the range for this number, 27 times 319, the range is that how we get what the answer could be. The range is what the answer could be in some point from 600 to 12,000. Now, that's not very accurate, but that is a range. So the answer is somewhere between 600 to 12,000. So first, remember, we want to round down and multiply. Then we're going to take those same numbers, round up and multiply, and then we're going to write down the range. The range is from 600 to 12,000. Now, what if we go ahead and do front-end estimation with division? Again, we're looking at the first digit, and we're going to look at the first digit of the quotient and determine its place value. Okay, so when I start dividing, I'm going to go ahead and 5 times 6 is 30. That's the first digit. The remaining ones are zeros. So we're just looking at the first one here. So that's pretty easy. So what times 6 equals 31 or 30? Okay, 5. And then everything else becomes zeros. Now, estimating with a multiple digit divisor, we're first going to round the divisor to its greatest place. So in this case, 43 into 13,562, I'm going to take the divisor, 43, and I'm going to round it to its greatest place. 3 is under 5, so I'm going to round it to a 40. 40 into 1? No. 40 into 13? No. 40 goes into 135 3 times. So 3 times 40 goes into 135, and then the rest are going to be zeros. So 43 rounds down to 40. Okay, so round the divisor to its greatest place, find the first digit in the quotient, and then the rest become zeros. So that's pretty easy that the rest become zeros. Okay, go ahead and don't just probably watch this once. Go through, watch it again, try some examples. Go ahead and do some of the practice questions, as this is probably not going to take very long. This video is less than 20 minutes. So complete the FitBin, do the practice problems, especially find what you're having trouble with. Reach out to me on Zoom, Marco Polo, or email. Let me help you, okay? And we'll go ahead and we'll do a little bit of a quiz on Thursday, and you guys will do great. Okay, so proud of you.